Right, it's a quick example play on how to play Last Stand. You will need some enemies, basic brawlers, anything sort of close combat style, using goblins there, some shooting, elites, and a boss, and various amount of dice just to mark HP and attacks. 2 colours is preferable. You will need some basic RPG dice. The D20 will be the turn tracker, starting at 1. The D12 is your health, starting at 12. The D4 and the D8 will be used to randomise enemies appearing on the board edges. And sometimes another D6 is useful to remember how many dice you're getting a turn, because it can vary during the game. You start the game with 3 dice per turn. Setup's easy. You need 3 pieces of terrain just to block 3 squares in. You always start opposite the corner. And you always start with 2 brawlers on the board next to the terrain. Whenever you place an enemy onto the table, you have to draw up their stats, which is pretty simple. For this game, we'll be using white as attack, blue as defense. So for each one, let's roll that up. So that's a 2 attack, 4 defense, 3 attack, 1 defense. So pretty easy mobs at the beginning. The turn's really simple. You always start with 3 dice. This can increase during the game. You roll your 3 dice, and then you assign your dice to your cards. You always start with 4 basic cards: basic movement, basic attack, basic block, and basic utility. Basic movement is any dice 1 to 3, and you move that amount. If all slots are used, you get to roll 1 new dice. For the basic attack, you can use even dice, and it's that amount of damage. For basic blocks, it's odd dice, and that amount of defense. And for basic utility, it's 1 to 6. You only have 2 dice you use to this one, those slots blacked out. And it allows you to duplicate the dice with a -2 to a minimum of 1, and then roll a new dice. So let's go through that. At the minute, I've got a 3, a 1, and a 4. Now, I kind of need more dice to be able to do stuff. So, I'm going to use the 4 on basic utility, which allows me to duplicate the dice. Duplicating the dice just means put it back into the dice tray, duplicated. In this case, it's duplicated with a -2, so duplicated a 4 minus 2 is 2, and we roll a new dice. So now we have 4 dice instead of 3. We could do that again. In fact, we might do that again. We also have to bear in mind we have to try and get to the enemies to damage them. In this game, you can move any direction. Baddies move any direction path diagonally. And we can only attack squares next to us, same with brawlers. We'll get to all the other stats later. So in order to get to, say for this one over here, that only needs 1 damage, I would need to move 1, 2, 3, at least 4. Basic movement's 1 to 3, so what I'm going to do is put a 3 and a 1 on there, allow me 4 movement, and to get out of harm's way, I'm actually going to put all of that onto movement. If all slots are used, roll new dice. 3. Won't be enough to take down the last one as well, so I'm going to put 2 onto here, and I'll put 3 onto there. The 2's an even dice, so I can do 2 damage. Basic block is an odd dice for 3, so I get 3 defense. Once all your dice are assigned, you then turn to the next phase, which is movement. Some of these utility dice, obviously, and some of these things will generate new dice as you're playing. You don't need to do this next step, but it's helpful. So I'm doing a move up to 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you can do is just mark where you've been. This isn't really important for the very beginning of the game, because there's not enemies everywhere. Because you can attack any point along your movement path. In this case, it's just this one here. But sometimes it's helpful to do this. I can assign this, when you assign damage, you do it per activation. So I've activated this card once for 2 damage, so I can use that to damage him once. He's gone. And normally, if any monsters are adjacent to your movement path and survive the turn, they get a free attack on you. In this case, we've defeated them all, so it's not really a problem. Now it's the enemy's go. They, basic rulers, just move 1 square towards you, and then will attack anything within their range, which is 1. In this case, we're absolutely fine. Then we spawn enemies. It's turn 1, so we spawn 1 enemy. There's a table to roll on this. It's basically 1 to 4, it's a brawler. 5, it's a shooter. 6, it's an elite. If you get an elite, you roll the dice again. If it's another 6, it becomes a boss. So we're only spawning 1 monster. So 2 is just another brawler. We have to find out where. So use the D4 and the D8. It's just sides of the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just count from the corner. So it's a 4 and a 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So your base there. If the square's already occupied, just roll again. And all monsters appear as a group together. So it's now round 2. At the beginning of each new round, after the first one, you draw 2 new cards, which are new abilities. These are going to change massively. You have up to 3 blank spaces, which you can fill with cards, and you can also replace your basic cards. Though bear in mind, you don't want to necessarily say replace your movement if you don't have any of the movement, because you're going to get seriously stuck. They're a very powerful combo you can make with this game, but the sheer amount of monsters means you're not going to probably get to the end of the deck. Right, so we've got footwork and poison cloud. We can choose 1 each time. Footwork's quite good. You can use a 2, a 3, or a 4 dice for X amount of defense, X amount of damage, X amount of move, and if all slots are used, roll 3 dice. That seems really good. So I'm going to take that, and that goes back to the bottom of the deck. And we haven't rolled up his stats. Slightly tougher brawler, this one. And remove all the dice. And we go again. So 3 dice. We've got a 1, a 2, and a 6. Well, we need some more dice, so we're going to use basic utility to replicate the dice with -2, so it makes it to 4. Rolling the dice. And we'll do that again. Always go down to minimum of 1, so we replicate it as a 1. Rolling the dice. Got lots of 1s. We only need to get 2 squares to get some damage in. And footwork gives us move and damage, so we can use 2 on that, which would allow us to move to there. He's going to require 4 damage, it's even 2 damage at the minute. Basic attacks need even, so we're going to use the 4 on there. And to play it safe, we're going to do 3 on movement. So we've got 3 move, or 5 move in total if we want to use it, but we're only going to move here. We're going to hit him with a basic attack. He's dead. Enemy's game. Moves 1 towards us. We now generate 2 new values. A 6 and a 3. 3 is going to be another brawler. 6 could be an elite or a boss. We'll roll that again. It's a 2, it's just an elite. And we have to find a location for them. 1, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we come in here. It starts off fairly easy, but as you can imagine, by say turn 4 or 5, the board starts to become absolutely swarmed. Elites have 2d6 health and 2d6 attack. Right, and it's back to our go again. That's just a quick overview of how turns work.